we're not here to save you. We're not here to make the music scene better for you. We're doing it because we know it needs to be done.
So, how did you guys start out? Talking about maybe from like childhood, when did you know you were interested in music?
I
Things like
started
that.
playing drums when I was 10, so I'm 25 now, it's 15 years ago. I've been in it all. I've been all over the country. I've toured in bands, managed for bands. I was in Jennifer Morrison, which is a big Baltimore band here. It just broke up about a year ago. You know, I was in Charleston, South Carolina in a band that was really big down there, so I've done that. And we got together. Actually, I used to deliver parts to his office.
Yeah.
And we met up, and he saw me at a show where I used to go to a hip-hop nightclub, and I'd literally just throw drum beats down and guys would go over top of it and just flow up. And he saw me there one night and was just like,
Yep.
we need to do this for real and not just have it be some freestyle thing. And then it went into we need to get beats, and you know, so now it's evolved into this where we're,
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
I've always wanted to be in the music industry. I mean, I've been told I was 3 years old telling my mother I was going to grow up to be a famous singer, so I can't sing to save my ass. But I started writing poetry when I was 8, and just the amount of encouragement that I got from that, because you know, apparently I had some kind of inborn talent for it that I didn't even know. They were just like, you got to keep writing, you got to keep writing. So I wrote and wrote, and it just evolved. And you know, as my music, you know, taste changed, so did how I wrote. And I actually I wrote my first actual like rap song probably about 9 years ago, and I sat on it for 2 years. And I ran into a friend of mine who I hadn't seen since high school, who had started doing it himself, and we kind of got together and built a group. And you know, he kind of influenced me a lot to get me going. And you know, we got this group called the Glass Men, which is like, you know, it's 3 of us that just started out from Catonsville, just nothing better to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're still good friends. We don't perform together as much anymore, but you know, there's a lot of feedback going back and forth even outside of that. And I started going out on my own and doing my own shows under the name Peter Parker. You know, I fronted a couple thrash metal bands, a couple punk rock bands, and I really found that my talents lied better in hip hop than everything else. So I just kind of took that and ran. And I mean, I've been playing Baltimore for 6-7 years now, and it's just been, you know, there's been bad shows, there's been great shows. But like he said, I met him at a show, and it was a horrible show. It was so bad. But you know, I'm coming off stage, and he walks in with a stripper on each arm and sits square down the middle of the floor by himself, and he's just like, I don't give a fuck. And you know, and I, like, as soon as he walked in, I was like, I want to be that guy. So you know, we started talking outside the club, and we started, you know, talking about the music and everything. And I had just had a band. It was a full band called Lockjaw Lullaby that we did literally 2 shows, and had 3 more on the table when everybody just decided to leave. And I was looking so hard to take that and start running with it again, because it was beautiful. And like you said, he came into the shop, delivered parts one day during my day job, and I was like, I remember you, come here. And we just started talking and built from there. Ain't nothing but ants and grasshoppers, either working like a slave or take what life has to offer. Enjoy digging in the dirt or go play in the grass, cause God's just a kid with a magnifying glass. If memory serves, it was 2 weeks ago today that I found some symbolism for my life to my dismay. It was something so small, a creature without ambition, a slave to its labor, unable to make decisions, was an ant. As much as I've tried to escape the fact I can't, the proof was written right there in the tiny grains of sand. And as I watched each one pass, I realized he had them all on his back. And that's sad, because I'm running full speed, but I barely managed to keep my stuff on step ahead. My shoes on top, my legs gonna lip, and both of my feet are made of lead. If I stop a soda, watch the earth behind me crumble, I might miss a hoop or hurdle, I might slip around my stomach, cause I only wanna be something more than what I am. Just another MC with a pad and a pen, and my tears drip pools of ink down through the paper, mate, foaming in the letters and the words finally taking shape. If I could make escape back to the infancy before I was a soldier, another member of the infantry, it wasn't shit to me, I never let it get to me. Back to the days I remember oh so vividly, we used to run around with them juvenile crews. We would smoke, skate, and drink like we had nothing left to lose. Constantly explained, but never really understood. Was never for the fame, but for for the love of the brotherhood. And people ain't nothing but ants and grasshoppers, either working like a slave or take what life has to offer. Enjoy digging in the dirt or go play in the grass, cause God's just a kid with a magnifying glass.
And what are your influences?
A lot of,
Barker DJ AM's mixtape. That's where the whole idea came from.
yeah,
It is drums and vocals instead of a DJ and vocals
Rest in
with the
peace.
drums. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's that kind of thing.
I mean, essentially, as far as my writing's concerned, as far as like my lyrics are concerned, you know, I take a lot from Sage Francis, a lot of Atmosphere, Aesop Rock, Brother Ali. I mean, there's even, you know, notes in there that go back as far as George Jones. You know, the original old country songs where they would say, you know, essentially, fuck you, bitch, in the most poetic, profound way possible. And, you know, it's just, that's a lot of the stuff that I talk about is those situations where you just have to stop and go, you know what, I'm gonna say this either as politely as possible and as artistic as possible, or I'm just gonna shove it in your face and look, you have to deal with this.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a lot of personal issues, a lot of I wouldn't say so much political issues, but a lot of like situations that happen in life that people just kind of, you know, overlook and sweep under the rug.
Okay.
We've got a song called City of Fables, which is it's basically the song is a modern day take on an old school fairy tale. And it was actually a concept that was brought to my attention by a buddy of mine named Jimmy the Mole, who I rap with on and off. And what I did with it was I took Goldilocks and the Three Bears and I essentially twisted it into a modern day Russian slave trade. Whereas Goldie is a woman brought in as a drug mule and then forced into prostitution by the Three Bears, the mother, the father, and the son. And you know, it's a very blunt, very in-your-face way of putting this situation that people just tend to not think about because they, you know, it's one of those things they don't like to think about and they just overlook it. So, you know, there's a lot of issues like that. There's a lot of stuff about drugs. There's a lot of stuff about insomnia. We just recently actually got to sit down and start making the music that we wanted to make. And
There's a lot that goes into it. Because of not having a band, as a drummer and a vocalist, we have to make our beats from scratch. We record our own guitars. We'll record different sounds, noises. So all our beats are made our own.
right.
So it's not necessarily a hip hop beat even. We've got
Right.
guitar with all different kinds of stuff, and it's all what we made ourselves. So
Right.
it's not just like we go into practice and here's a song we just wrote.
Exactly.
There's a month of writing usually involved before the song
Exactly.
even gets to the table to be played.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be synced up, and then I got to be able to play the drums to the beat. So there's a lot of work. It's not just here we go. So it took for our set for now, for 45 minutes, took us
6 months.
6 months to get completely polished and ready to go.
What happens if you're embraced by the mainstream? Like, would you embrace that yourselves, or like,
Put
would
our
somebody?
twist on it.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, I'm not saying we would never conform, but I think our message will never be shut down. I think
Yeah.
we'll still keep that same message and the same idea.
you know, I'm not going to compromise.
polished.
I'm not going to compromise the way I write for anybody. You know, if somebody
The
puts
art,
a
basically.
if somebody puts a deal on the table and they say, all right, well, you need to, you know, you're officially a hip hop act or you're officially a rock act, so you need like one club song or one radio song. You know, I'm not going to sit there and force myself to write something just so they can mass produce it. You know, I'm going to go, look, I've got this. You know, people seem to like this. If you want to put that out there, that's fine. But I'm not going to just sit down and do something because I'm told to do something. You know,
Exactly.
we don't function that way. We can't
Just
function
comes
that
out,
way.
yeah.